Appointment Committee of Parliament is this afternoon meeting to consider and agree on modalities to guide the vetting of Chief Justice nominee Justice Paul Baffoe Bonnie. The Speaker of Parliament referred the nomination to the committee on Tuesday when the House resumed sitting. This was despite fresh applications by the former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, who is praying the High Court to stay the hand of Parliament on considering the President's nomination for the position. Let's take you to the legislature now for some more in terms of understanding as regards what the committee is expected to do today. Christian Yale is our man. He joins us live with the information. Chris, first of all, talk to us about this meeting of the Appointment Committee and what is on the table.
All right, Beatrice. So I can tell you that in just a few minutes coming up, the members of the Appointment Committee would begin to convene in one of the conference rooms in Job 600. What this basically is what we call the preliminary meeting. This is coming right after the Speaker had made the referral to the committee on Tuesday when the House reconvened. What it means is that this is going to be a deliberation between only members of the Appointment Committee who are going to, like you said, look at the modalities, look at the appointment of the new CJ, and also some of the issues that might have come up over the period. We know that already members of the Minority Caucus have raised concerns about the manner in which the former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu was removed from office, questioning what the work of, or questioning the work of the Justice Twaman Committee. Yesterday, for instance, the Minority Leader Alexander Fielmartin, during an engagement with the press corps, had raised a serious issue about the conduct of the committee, among many other things, even saying that the committee should be ashamed of the kind of work it did for not, releasing or making public the third document that established a prima facie case against the former Chief Justice. And so we look forward to how this deliberation between members of the Appointment Committee is going to be, also because you have the minority members on that committee as well, to see really what could possibly be their reservations about this new appointment of Justice Paul Baffoe Bonnie, and maybe what could be their recommendations or opposition thereof.
Knowing that the minority yesterday actually held a press conference, or was it 3 days ago, accusing the majority of some tactics, as it were, what should we look forward to regarding the reaction of both sides of the House?
Yes, indeed. You have the likes of the Minority Leader himself, Alexander Fielmartin, being the ranking on the Appointment Committee, and then his deputy, Patricia Pieje, and the other leadership of minority on this committee, as well as other members who have long held that, the CJ, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, was dealt with unfairly. She has a case at the High Court pleading that the court stops the appointment and vetting of Justice Paul Baffoe Bonnie. The appointment has already been done. The Speaker has already made the referral. What is left is the vetting. And then the process for the vetting is starting today with the preliminary meeting of the committee. And so it will be very interesting to watch indeed what they would have to say, what some of their concerns are going to be during this deliberation, and also because and they've always long held that, whatever be the case, even with the issue at the ECOWAS court that is yet to be settled on, the country, even the president, might be in a rush in making a new appointment pending the determination of these two cases, one at the High Court here in Ghana, and even that in the ECOWAS court outside the jurisdiction. And so it is just interesting how things are going to play out, really.
Indeed. And before you go, of course, Parliament has resumed sitting as well. If you can tell us what we should look forward to in the main House.
Exactly. So today, a number of papers are to be laid before the House. Yesterday, some were done, and so the respective ministers would appear in the chamber to come to lay the various reports that they need to lay for their respective sectors. Aside from that, a number of committees are actually sitting today as well to look at other government business. But Beatrice, you know that this is what we call the budget sitting, and so the House actually still awaits a formal communication from the finance minister concerning a date that he would propose for the delivery or the presentation of the 2026 budget. That is the key item that members are awaiting. But already there are conversations and there are meetings that are being held by the Finance Committee, the Economic Committee, and the other relevant committees that are going to make relevant inputs into the final document of the budget statement for 2026 fiscal year.
Thank you very much. Christian Yale is our parliamentary correspondent. As you may be aware, the former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono is also in court seeking to stop Parliament from considering the president's nomination for the position. Private legal practitioner Austin Bracco-Powers says Parliament cannot be prevented from doing its work.
This is almost like a bottomless pit. It's a bottomless pit, and it will be difficult for. I don't see how the system will move, faster enough for the removed Chief Justice, particularly with regards to issues affecting the appointment of Justice Baffoe Bonnie. But be that as it may, I think she should continue fighting. It is worth fighting because I have maintained that whatever she is doing, sometimes you may not be the beneficiary, but you are setting down a precedent which will guide future generations. So sometimes you don't just cower in the face of opposition or injustice, or in the face of what some people would say intractable or insurmountable problems. You must keep fighting. Maybe she's fighting for the future. And I think legally lawyers may know what to do. But as the position of the law is currently, Parliament must go ahead and get the Chief Justice nominee. And if the court does not make a determination on the judge application, then that will be it. He will become Justice Baffoe Bonnie will end up being approved by the plenary to become the next Chief Justice of the country. And we'll still see what happens.
And you heard the private legal practitioner Austin Bracco-Powers speaking earlier to Mawina Egbeta. The anti-LGBTQ bill is back on the front burner in Parliament. Minority members are now accusing the government of deliberate tactics to avoid passing it into law. The bill was advertised on Tuesday when the House reconvened, but it was missing the next day with claims that the Speaker was not aware of its reintroduction.
It all started when the majority leader indicated during a media engagement with the press corps that the anti-LGBTQ bill was passed by the last parliament and was sent to the presidency, and so there is no need to reintroduce it.
My recollection is that it was passed by parliament already, and the issue was giving it a presidential assent. So that is where it should be taken up. I don't see why anybody should bring us a bill that we have passed already. I think the step is to push for it to be given the assent.
If you maintain that it was passed and so ordinarily it shouldn't be brought back, how do you just oppose it, knowing that ordinarily it must have died with the 8th Parliament? Again, leader, you supervise the business committee, so how did it feature on the order paper if you claim you were not aware?
I was at business committee. You were at business committee. Was it discussed? No, it wasn't discussed. Now, the Constitution says that if a bill is not passed and then the life of the Parliament expires, then it lapses. But this one was passed. If you don't resolve the question of what is the legal effect of our having passed it, it will be difficult to take it again on the floor.
It did not end there. During the proceedings in the chamber, the first deputy minority whip, Habib Idris, raised the question about why the bill was featured on the order paper the previous day but is missing the next time.
When we drew the attention of the Speaker to the advertisement, he indicated that he did not recall approving that it should be advertised.
The minority leader, Alexander Afeomakin, then rose to his feet and argued that this government has no option than to pass the bill into law.
Only yesterday, when we were raising this issue, Mr. Speaker, you were saying that the bill must pass. Now you are in government, you are in the hot seat. When the IMF, the World Bank, IPU threatening, you are now running away, you are saying procedure. Which mistake? There was nothing administratively in error. You force LGBT on the throat of the Akufo-Addo government. Today, you don't want LGBT. You would want it. Mumbe pepa. Mumbe pepa, papa, papa, papa. You use it to win election. Now, when your stakeholders, the international community is warning you, you want to run away. Run to where?
Lead proponent of the bill, who doubles as NPP's MP for Asin South, John Ntimfojo, then addressed the press and accused government of deliberate tactics to delay the passage of the bill into law.
We on the minority side of Parliament are very disappointed in the NDC government for their shameful shifts in position on a matter that is very important to 93% of our population, as per Afro Barometer survey conducted. We are asking NDC government, where is the Human Sexual Rights Bill, which had gone through all the processes and approved? Today, the majority leader is telling us that Speaker is not aware. The clerk is not aware. And the first deputy speaker is saying he's not aware. But he chaired the committee that approved this bill as private members' bill. This goes clearly to indicate that there seems to be a clear attempt by NDC government to run away from this bill. We are demanding that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill be passed now. Be passed now. And not deferred to any other time.
And that report was put together by our parliamentary correspondent, Christian Yale. The criminal trial of former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Adu and his wife Angela J. Boateng continues as prosecution's first witness is expected to continue submitting her evidence in chief. The first witness, Ruby Adumwa, is the Director of Finance at the National Signals Bureau. Kwabena Adu and his wife Angela are facing multiple charges, including causing financial loss to the state and money laundering. Lord Edwasari is in court. He joins us live on the phone. Lord, what more can you tell us?
Right, Beatrice, and so even before the evidence in chief, the continuation of the evidence in chief by the Director of Finance at the National Signals Bureau could continue, defense lawyer of Kwabena Adu, led by Samuel Tasha, notified the court that there's been a new development. He indicated that they had filed an application of prohibition at the Supreme Court, which was pending and will be heard next week. And so he was praying the court for the court to adjourn proceedings until that matter is determined at the apex court. He indicated that the prosecution had been served with this application that they had filed at the Supreme Court. But the prosecution, led by AC Denta, a principal state attorney, indicated that application cannot be used as a way or a route to halt proceedings, because as far as criminal cases are concerned, no application to stay proceedings can be used to halt it until it is heard. And so she was asking the court to, as it were, refuse this application to stay proceedings so that the trial can continue. Now, the judge in the matter, Justice Eugene Nyante, indicated that he wanted to have a glimpse and get into the details of that application, because somehow cited some authorities to back that application, the reason for which he wanted the courts to halt the proceedings. And so the court is actually on recess at the moment for the judge to go through these authorities. Now, this is the background of the case. At the last adjourned date, when the prosecution's first witness, Ruby Adumwa, was submitting her evidence in chief, she submitted some receipts by the National Signals Bureau, which was used by the former National Signals Bureau Director, Governor Dubois during his tenure and tendered it in as evidence. Now, Samuel Sasha indicated that by nature of the work of the National Signals Bureau, that document or those receipts were prejudicial to national security, and so he wanted that to be determined at the Supreme Court. He raised that objection before that evidence could be tendered in, but the prosecution led by Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Ramsay indicated that it is not in the place of a private citizen to indicate which documentation is prejudicial or not. That power lies within the bosom of the executive or government. And so by saying that the judge also or the court also agreed with him and then dismissed that objection by Samuel Tashan. Now, it is this objection that has caused Samuel Tashan to go to the Supreme Court, filing an application to prohibit the trial from ongoing until further determination of the matter. And that's why we are here today. And so the court is currently on recess. When we are back, we'll see what the decision of the courts will be regarding this application that Samuel Tashan has made.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Lord Edouard Sari. He's our court affairs correspondent. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Stay with us.
You are in the hot seat.
To support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Now, the Municipal Chief Executive for Pristia Huni Valley, Matthew Ayer, has led a joint security operation that uncovered and halted an illegal mining activity within the Akokobedi Abro residential enclave at Bogoso. Acting on a tip-off, the Municipal Security Council found excavators on site, one trapped in mud and subsequently demobilized. Let's bring you some more in this.
I'm very sad this morning, and it is disheartening when you come to see some of these things. Because of money, people do destruction to the land and the future of our children without thinking about tomorrow. Through a whistle blower, we got to identify this site this morning. And immediately I sanctioned the BNI and the security people just to come and inspect what has happened. It's very sad. There's a lot of destruction here. Unfortunately, the guys are gone. They've run away. But we've been able to confiscate 2 excavators. That is what we've done today.
And you heard the Municipal Chief Executive for Pristia Huni Valley, Matthew Ayer, to the Central Region now, where the Regional Security Council and National Security are pursuing a group of miscreants who have persistently engaged in sand winning activities that threaten the sea defense wall at Gomwa Fete. This is a report filed by my colleague Stanley Nibleo.
Over the past 2 years, a group of illegal sand winners have depleted massive quantities of sand, forming part of the sea defense structure at Fete Kakraba. The government constructed the sea defense wall to combat severe coastal erosion and safeguard lives and property. Standing nearly 20 meters high and 50 meters thick, the embankment was engineered to shield communities from flooding and prevent the sea from encroaching further inland. However, years of unchecked sand winning along the coastline have now compromised this critical barrier. The once formidable structure has significantly shrunk, leaving nearby communities dangerously exposed to tidal waves. Residents say the situation worsens at night when rough tides push seawater alarmingly through the depleted area. On Wednesday, the Central Regional Security Council, led by the Minister, Edumwa Ekopenyin Ochre, and the Director of National Security, Richard Jakpa, visited the site upon the invitation of environmentalist Patrick Winibot Indego. Visibly alarmed by the level of distraction, the Chairman of the Regional Security Council, Edumwa Ekopenyin Ochre, vowed to clamp down on the perpetrators.
Our concentration more or less has been on Galamsey's. Unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, we had to, struggle with water because of activities of Galamsey's. Now, if you look at what we are seeing here today too, it tells you that if you do not, as a matter of urgency, take action about this behavior, then we're going to have to, struggle, have issues with the sea as well. And so I'm happy that the national security operatives are here and we are going to crack the whip. Indeed, it is not for us to be talking plenty. This is a security matter, and what is important for us is to take action.
Environmental advocate Patrick Winibot Indego has renewed calls for the immediate reconstruction of the damaged sea defense and the arrest of individuals engaged in illegal sand winning.
Just about 4 feet.
The sea defense is at a point of caving in. A lot of communities may suffer when this happens. The perpetrators must not be spared. While in the central region, the team also inspected another site where similar illegal activities are rapidly destroying the beach fronts. The sand winners, however, were not present at the time of the team's visit. The Central East Regional Police Commander described the level of the environmental distraction as alarming and called for reinforcement of security personnel to secure the affected areas.
If you need men, then we should have not less than 4 or 5 teams here, vehicles with each team having about 5 men, so that if they happen to be under attack, by the time we even bring reinforcement, they should be able to contain the situation. This is an activity that will take away people's livelihood, so they can decide to do anything. And when you look at the environment, it plays to their advantage. They can hide and fire.
The crackdown by the Regional Security Council signals a renewed commitment to protecting Ghana's coastal communities from environmental vandalism. But without sustained enforcement and community vigilance, the sea's advance may soon swallow what remains of the country's vital coastal defenses, leaving thousands at the mercy of the tides. Stanley Nibleu, Central Region.
Now, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has stressed the need for the national resources to be managed wisely and transparently. She also expressed passion for advancing the welfare of women, stressing the Women Development Bank would soon be rolled out to support women businesses. She was speaking in Iowa in the United States.
But regardless where Ghanaians are, he thinks of all of us too. And some of us find that very, very important to recognize that Ghanaians live everywhere. I heard in one of the presentations that Ghanaian students are found everywhere. And that is a source of pride, at least for me, who has spent so much of my life on the campuses. So one may ask, so what are we about? Ghana is about ensuring that there is inclusive development. That is, that our focus is on bringing everybody towards the center. We know those who are in the center, we know those who are not there. So the focus is on those who are not there. Therefore, using power means empowering those who don't have the power.
Now, the Vision for Accelerated Sustainable Development Ghana, VAS Ghana, is urging the government to increase excise taxes on tobacco alcohol, sugar-sweetened beverages, and other unhealthy products as part of efforts to strengthen public health and boost revenue. Vast Ghana says data from the Ghana Revenue Authority shows that excise revenue from these products surged to over 1.3 billion cedis in 2023, following the Excise Duty Amendment Act, reflecting both fiscal and health gains. The organization says higher taxes will further reduce consumption of harmful products, prevent thousands of deaths from non-communicable diseases, and generate more funds to support Ghana's health system. Labram Musa is the executive director of Vast Ghana.
Right, so thank you very much, and I'm grateful to you and also to your cherished listeners. In 2023, government, increases or review the Excise Duty Amendment Act, and we had some level of increases in tobacco, alcohol, and sugar-sweetened beverage, as well as plastics. But we felt that the level of increases was not very marginal. They were not very marginal. But even with that, we are recording, some increases in terms of revenue, which, is an indication that apart from the fact that, public health is enhanced when you increase taxes on these products, it also serves as a revenue stream, sustainable domestic revenue stream for governments all over the world. So let me say that indeed, if you look at the statistics with respect to the deaths, and then also the diseases that is rising. I'm talking about non-communicable diseases, which has become the leading cause of preventable death in the world today. The statistics indeed shows us that in Ghana, we are losing close to 100,000 people annually for non-communicable diseases, representing about 45% of all deaths. In Ghana, in fact, the leading cause of death in Ghana today. And then globally, it's even worse. So there's an upsurge in non-communicable diseases, and the earliest, countries do something about it, the better for us. So we thought that this an opportunity for us, especially when Ghana is also experiencing the same surge, and the fact that we are nearing the budget, statements, which will be read in November, and so. And also the fact that the government has currently, initiated, some quite good number of, initiatives, to reduce the NCD burden to a large extent. So I'm talking about the Ghana Medical Trust Fund.
And you had the Labram Musa. He's executive director of the Vision for Accelerated Sustainable Development Ghana, Vast Ghana. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us on the Midday News today on 3FM 92.7. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.